doing for some diet pills, and then he got into some other things.
Right.
Nothing like what they call today hard.
Are you the same, Waylon? What we see is what we get?
That's it. I really am. You know,
For over 20 years, Jessi Colter kept the most intimate details of her marriage to Waylon Jennings locked away. The Queen of Outlaw Country watched as rumors swirled, as people speculated about what really went on behind closed doors with one of Nashville's wildest couples.
I knew what they were doing here wasn't right, and I knew it wasn't fair, and not to somebody like Waylon, who was a genius.
Then, in 2017, at 74 years old, she finally decided to tell the truth. What she revealed in her memoir shocked fans who thought they knew the whole story.
But it still was stuff. You know, I think he just wanted to stay up.
Born Mirriam Johnson on May 25, 1943, in Phoenix, Arizona, Jessi grew up in a world split between two extremes. Her mother was a Pentecostal preacher who ran her own church. Her father was a race car driver. By age 11, little Mirriam was already playing piano at her mother's church, learning hymns and gospel songs that would shape her musical foundation for life. After graduating from Mesa High School in 1961, she started singing in local Phoenix clubs, and that same year she married rockabilly guitar legend Duane Eddy in Las Vegas. As Mirriam Eddy, she tried her hand at recording. Her single, Lonesome Road, got some scattered airplay across the country, but it wasn't enough to chart nationally. Her second single flopped completely. For nearly a decade, she stopped recording altogether and just toured with her husband. They had a daughter together named Jennifer. By 1968, the marriage was over. The following year changed everything. In 1969, at a nightclub called JD's in Arizona, Mirriam met Waylon Jennings.
Met Waylon and immediately knew his intelligence. But,
Yeah.
you know, that other part that I had never seen was a little scary.
He'd been friends with her ex-husband Duane Eddy for years. They'd even recorded together before. But when Waylon saw her again after her divorce, something was different. Years later, Waylon admitted in an interview that he didn't actually like Jessi when he first met her. He told Spin magazine that she made him madder than anybody.
But there was something so good about him that I recognized that.
But that fire between them turned into something else entirely. Waylon was at his lowest point when they reconnected. He told Rolling Stone he weighed just 138 pounds and was bent on self-destruction. He'd already been married 3 times, 3 failures, 3 women who, as Jessi would later say, didn't really understand him.
Perhaps if it had just been some guy who doing drugs and getting high, and I wouldn't have been there.
you cannot destroy country music, you know, like with instruments. You can't change it with instruments that much. You make it bigger, you know.
Really, what he was doing was right in the sense, I don't mean, you know, the lifestyle.
On their first date, Waylon took her on a long drive through the painted desert. He said it would give them a chance to really talk, to really know each other. By October 26, 1969, they were married in Phoenix at the church where Jessi's mother served as minister. Here's what Jessi revealed in her 2017 memoir that surprised everyone. She admitted she'd been packing a wedding dress in her suitcase for months before Waylon proposed. She saw it coming. When he finally asked her, she didn't say yes right away. She stayed silent for what felt like forever. Instead of answering, she asked him, "Just like that?" He replied, "Just like that." Jessi confessed she had doubts. Would marrying Waylon mean giving up her own career? If they didn't work out, would it ruin both their reputations? While these questions rattled around in her head, Waylon said something that sealed the deal. "If I know you, and I think I do, you won't let those doubts stop you. So just say yes, and let's get on with it." They didn't waste time with a long engagement. They went to Las Vegas City Hall for a quick ceremony. Jessi wrote that she laughed nervously through the whole thing. She laughed when Waylon's best man turned out to be his bass player who hit the same wrong notes every night and whose main job was carrying the money briefcase. She laughed through the justice of the piece's monotone voice. Looking back, she called it perfect in its own chaotic way. Right after they married, Mirriam Johnson became Jessi Colter professionally. She chose the name based on a story her father told her about Jessi Colter, reportedly an accomplice of Jessi James. Waylon helped her get a recording contract with RCA Victor, and they moved to Nashville. In 1970, they released their first duet. That same year, their version of Suspicious Minds earned them a Grammy nomination. Jessi's solo career was taking off too. Her debut album, A Country Star Is Born, came out in 1970, co-produced by Waylon. Then came 1975, the year that changed everything for Jessi as a solo artist. She signed with Capitol Records and released I'm Not Lisa. The song shot to #1 on the country charts and cracked the top 5 on the pop charts. Suddenly, Jessi Colter wasn't just Waylon's wife. She was a star in her own right. Her album, I'm Jessi Colter, also hit #1 on the country charts. What's Happened to Blue Eyes became another top 10 hit. In 1976 came the album that would define the outlaw country movement, Wanted. The Outlaws featured Waylon, Jessi, Willie Nelson, and Tom Paul Glaser. It became the first country album to be certified platinum, selling over 1 million copies. Jessi was the only woman on that album cover, standing shoulder to shoulder with the men who were reshaping Nashville's sound. Chris Christopherson later called their marriage a beautiful love affair. But here's what Jessi finally revealed about those glory years. Behind the success, behind the sold-out shows and hit records, Waylon was fighting a battle that was tearing him apart. And Jessi was fighting right alongside him in ways the public never saw. Waylon had started taking amphetamines back in the 1960s when he was living with Johnny Cash. He later said pills were the artificial energy Nashville ran on around the clock. Loretta Lynn used to walk him around backstage when he got too high before shows. By the 1970s, a friend convinced him to switch to something supposedly better. He started using the white powder. For the next decade, Waylon reportedly spent $1,500 a day feeding his habit. That's over $5,000 in today's money, every single day. The bust came on August 23, 1977. Federal agents raided a Nashville recording studio right in the middle of Waylon's session. They'd gotten a tip about a package containing 27 grams sent to him from New York. Waylon managed to delay their search by challenging the warrant, which incorrectly listed him as the studio owner when he only rented it. While they sorted out the paperwork, Waylon and his drummer hid or disposed of everything they could find. But he was arrested anyway, charged with conspiracy and possession with intent to distribute. Waylon called Jessi from jail. She wrote about this phone call in her memoir for the first time. He told her to go through all his things, everything, and flush down the toilet anything that even looked suspicious. The charges were eventually dropped after 6 weeks due to the faulty warrant, but it cost Waylon about $100,000 in legal fees. He even wrote a hit song about the whole mess called Don't You Think This Outlaw Bits Done Got Out of Hand. Here's what shocked readers when Jessi's book came out. She revealed that during all those years of heavy usage, she never preached at him, never gave him ultimatums, never threatened to leave. She just stayed steady and loved him. She wrote that she was amazed at her own patience looking back. Her mother had shown her that same patience, never shaming or demanding, just loving. Jessi followed that example even when it seemed impossible. By the early 1980s, things got worse. Waylon's habit intensified. He racked up over $2.5 million in debt. His tours deteriorated. His work lost focus. Jessi and Waylon nearly divorced during this period. He later admitted he put her through absolute torment. They separated briefly, but storms never last. Just like the song she wrote said. On May 19, 1979, their son Shooter was born. Waylon Albright Jennings, nicknamed Shooter, would become the key to his father's salvation. In 1984, Jessi made a decision. After years of prayer, after watching her husband spiral, she felt it was time. In March of that year, Waylon told her he wanted to quit on his own terms. What Jessi revealed about this period stunned everyone who read her memoir. She and Waylon rented a house in the Arizona desert. They canceled everything on his calendar. Every show, every appearance, everything. Waylon decided to go cold turkey, and Jessi was going to be there for every moment of it. But here's the detail that got people talking. Before they isolated themselves, Waylon left $20,000 worth of product on his tour bus parked in the driveway, just in case the urge got too strong. Jessi wrote about watching every bone in Waylon's body scream out in anguish during those 30 days. The ordeal was painful, physically and emotionally. A doctor came by occasionally to give him vitamin shots. Jessi forced him to drink protein-fortified milkshakes because he'd stopped eating. She stayed by his side through the sweats, the shakes, the dark moments when he didn't know if he could make it. Later, Waylon wrote that her presence and her prayers made the difference. Somehow, he quit and stayed sober for the rest of his life. But Jessi revealed something else that few people understood. She admitted that even though Waylon kicked his physical habit in 1984, it took him 8 more years to get over missing the highs. He later confessed he would wake up at 3 in the morning from a sound sleep, his body still craving what it had been denied. The psychological battle lasted far longer than the physical one. In 1981, before he got clean, Waylon and Jessi released a duet album called Leather and Lace. The first single was Storms Never Last, written by Jessi. It peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Country chart. The album went gold. People heard that song as a beautiful love ballad, but Jessi later revealed it came from her deepest prayers during the darkest times. She would hum it to herself when tension filled their home, when she didn't know if Waylon would make it through another day. Here's another revelation from the memoir that changed how fans saw their relationship. Jessi admitted that in the early 1980s, she briefly separated from Waylon not because of his problems, but because she was rediscovering her faith. She'd come back to the church after abandoning it in her youth. Waylon wasn't ready to go there with her. She found it very difficult because it was something she couldn't share with the man she loved more than anything. But she had to learn to live with it. After Waylon got clean in 1984, life changed. Jessi revealed that those later years were marked by peace, not chaos. Waylon quit smoking his 6-pack-a-day habit in 1988. He had triple bypass surgery in December 1988 after suffering chest pains on his tour bus. Then, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the couple packed up and moved from Nashville back to Arizona, Jessi's home state. Waylon's health was deteriorating. Type 2 diabetes from decades of poor diet, and usage was taking its toll. He had severe leg pain and neuropathy. He couldn't drive anymore, so Jessi would drive him around the desert to their favorite spots. She wrote that during this time, Waylon reflected on all the mistakes he'd made, all the pain he'd caused people. He couldn't forgive himself. Then came Thanksgiving 2001. Waylon was in the hospital for more procedures. Nothing was working. The diabetes, heart troubles, and neuropathy had all taken their toll. In a Guidepost magazine feature from 2017, Jessi shared the story of this Thanksgiving for the first time publicly. She kept thinking it was the moment she needed to have the conversation she'd been wanting to have for years. Waylon looked at her from his hospital bed and said, "Looks like you want to say something to me, darling." What happened next changed everything. Jessi finally opened up to Waylon about faith in a way she never had before. She'd been holding back for decades following her mother's example of never preaching or demanding. But something told her the time had come. Waylon was tired. He was in pain. He felt guilty for all the years of chaos. Jessi revealed in her memoir that during that final Thanksgiving, Waylon made peace with God. After years of saying he believed in something greater but wasn't ready to name it, he finally let go. He found comfort in the faith Jessi had been quietly living out in front of him for their entire marriage. She wrote that he left this world knowing he was loved, not just by the world, but by the woman who never gave up on him. Waylon passed away on February 13, 2002 at age 64 from complications related to diabetes. They'd been married for 33 years. Jessi was 58 years old. After Waylon's passing, Jessi largely stepped back from the spotlight. She released an album in 2006 called Out of the Ashes. Then, in 2017, she released The Psalms, her first album in 11 years. The project featured passages from the Book of Psalms set to music, produced over nearly a decade. She recorded it with Lenny Kaye, who had helped Waylon write his autobiography back in the 1990s. Kay remembered a night when he was visiting the couple and heard Jessi at her piano in the early morning singing passages of the Bible. He was transfixed and kept that evening in his mind until he convinced her to record those renditions. The same month The Psalms was released, April 2017, Jessi published her memoir, An Outlaw and a Lady, a memoir of music, life with Waylon, and the faith that brought me home, written with David Ritz. The book revealed details about their marriage that had remained private for 15 years after Waylon's passing. Readers were shocked by her honesty. She didn't sugarcoat the difficult years. She didn't pretend their marriage was perfect, but she also revealed the depth of love and commitment that kept them together through everything. She admitted there were days she didn't know if they'd make it, but even in the darkest moments, she never stopped loving him. She never stopped hoping. The memoir also revealed something about Jessi's own career that many people didn't know. Waylon told an interviewer in the late 1990s that Jessi had sold millions of records for Capitol, but when she wanted to put out a more personal gospel album for her mother, the label wanted nothing to do with it. It broke her heart. Waylon said she was never really into the business the same way after that. But Jessi clarified in her book that she had no interest in building the kind of publicity machine required to keep up with her rivals. She chose family over fame. In the early 1990s, Jessi made the conscious decision to take herself off the touring circuit. Their son Shooter had been born when Jessi was in her late 30s. She remembered being overseas in Singapore and Asia, realizing it would take 3 days to get home to her son if something happened. She decided that wasn't acceptable. Waylon became her manager and handled the business side. Some people later suggested Waylon had held back her career, but Jessi set the record straight. It was her choice. He was her promoter and an excellent businessman. He fought for their money at venues and handled the tough negotiations. Now, here's the part that has everyone talking in 2025. In February 2023, Jessi Colter remarried. At age 79, she married Arlen Brower at a horse therapy ranch in Rio Verde, Arizona. She'd met him around 2015 and reconnected with him 4 years later. She kept the relationship private for as long as possible, knowing that Waylon's fans wouldn't want anything to change. But when she finally announced it, the response was overwhelmingly positive. In a 2023 interview with NPR, Jessi talked about her new husband for the first time publicly. She recalled what a friend who'd also been widowed and remarried told her. "My first ride was great, and my second ride is great." During their wedding ceremony, Arlen said something that captured his attitude toward life. "Every day is going to be the best day of my life." Jessi thought, who could have a better outlook than that? She also released a new album in October 2023 called Edge of Forever, produced by Margot Price and mixed by her son, Shooter. The album includes songs co-written by her daughter, Jennifer. Most surprisingly, it features a song called Lost Love Song that Waylon had handed her decades ago on a tape with no information about who wrote it. She'd kept it all those years, inspired by it, but never recording it. She decided it was finally time to put it out there. At 82 years old in 2025, Jessi Colter continues to live in Arizona. She's still making music, still surprising fans with her resilience and grace. When she looks back on her life with Waylon, she doesn't focus on the difficult years or the battles with substance issues. She focuses on the love story, the laughter, the music they made together, the son they raised, the peace they found in those final years. Looking back at everything Jessi revealed in her memoir and interviews since his passing, several truths emerged that fans never fully understood. First, Jessi was never just the woman standing beside the outlaw. She was an outlaw herself, breaking rules and expectations in her own way. She was the only woman on that Wanted the Outlaws album cover, holding her own in a movement dominated by men. Second, her faith wasn't something she used to push against Waylon's problems. It was something she lived quietly, patiently, trusting that love and grace would do what demands and ultimatums never could. Her mother taught her that. She taught it to Waylon through example, and it ultimately saved him. Third, the story of their marriage wasn't about Waylon being tamed by a good woman. It was about two people who understood each other completely. Waylon told an interviewer that Jessi was probably the only person in the world who would put up with him. He ventured to say she was the only person who could have stayed married to him. But Jessi revealed the flip side. She loved him. She just loved him. He entertained her, made her laugh, made her feel loved, inspired her. Fourth, Jessi's decision to step back from her career wasn't a sacrifice forced upon her. It was a choice she made for her family. In an era when women were told they couldn't have both, Jessi chose what mattered most to her in that season of life, and she never regretted it. The final revelation is perhaps the most powerful. Waylon's last years weren't filled with regret and bitterness. They were filled with peace. He made his peace with God. He made his peace with his past. He was surrounded by the family he loved in the state where Jessi had grown up, watching sunsets over the desert. He couldn't drive anymore, but Jessi drove him to all their favorite spots. They were rich in life, as Jessi put it. He was able to work less and make twice as much. When she looks at his lifeline, the good things were really, really good. 23 years after Waylon's passing, Jessi Colter has opened up about their life together in ways that honor both the struggle and the triumph. She's revealed the private battles, the moments of doubt, the days she didn't know if they'd make it. But she's also revealed the unbreakable devotion, the fierce love, the patience that outlasted every storm. She's shown the world that behind the outlaw image and wild years was a deeply vulnerable soul, a man fighting to be better for his music, his family, and the woman who never gave up on him. And she's shown that she wasn't just the woman who stood by him. She was the anchor, the prayer, the steady presence that helped him find his way home. Now remarried and still creating music at 82, Jessi Colter's story is far from over. She's living proof that life continues after loss, that love can bloom again, and that the best chapters might still be ahead. Her first ride with Waylon was legendary. Her second ride with Arlen is bringing her new joy. And through it all, the music continues. What do you think about Jessi Colter's revelations? Did her story change how you see Waylon Jennings and their legendary marriage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about country music's greatest legends.